Hi and welcome back. This is Jennifer McGuire. So today I thought I would show you a fun way to make cards with coordinating die cut windows. I've done a few variations of this in the past, but have some new ideas for you. I will link at the end of this to other ideas and other videos if you want to check it out. So today I'm also going to be using some fun new products from Rina K Designs. I adore Rina and the young, energetic, vibrant look that she's bringing to crafting, so I'm excited to use it. I will also be sharing techniques for using flocking on your cards, glitter glitz gel, and much more. The first stamp set that I'm going to use is from Rina K Designs, and it's called Sending Sunshine. This is a large 6x8 set, so the images are a good size. There's some fun sentiments in it, and some simple layering images. Now what's special about this set is that not only can you get the coordinating dies to go with it, which we'll use today, but you can also get a coordinating stencil that adds details to your stamped images. We're going to be using this coordinating stencil to add flocking and glitter glitz gel and much more to these stamped images. So it's nice to be able to build up your layers in different ways and use your products together creatively. In this video, I'm also using the Electro ink line from Rina K Designs. These are bright inks that stamp really well. They give nice, solid results. I especially love the poppin' pink color. It's nice and bright, and the Raging Red is a really pretty red. So you'll see me use these throughout the video. Let's start by creating some pineapples. Off screen, I die cut a bunch of white pineapples using the coordinating die set that I just showed you. Here's the negative space of one of them, and on the back I'm putting some tape face up, so it'll help to hold our die cuts in place as we stamp. I put some anti-static powder tool onto the tape just so it wasn't too sticky. I'm putting in one of my die cuts and then lining up the first layer of the pineapple image. By using the negative space template, I can easily pop in each die cut and stamp them one after another exactly the same. I'm doing my first layer of inking here with the Rina K Loud Lime color. And then I'm going to use Gina K Designs Ink, which you can use this with the Rina K. This is the key lime color. And I'm putting some of this ink just towards the bottom of the stamp, so it could be darker there. I even went in with a little bit of grass green and put that right along the bottom, just so I can have a variation of color. This is a great way to take a solid image and add some interest to it, but you definitely could use or leave this as one color ink if you prefer. Now I'm going to pop in another die cut and do the same thing. I'm starting with the Loud Lime, and then when I add the grass green, I'm kind of inking up the stamp with the ink pad at an angle so that the ink is only going towards the bottom edge of the stamp. If you want to be sure there are no harsh lines, you can wipe away some of the extra ink up towards the top of the stamp with a dry cloth. Okay, so after I've stamped that base layer on all the pineapples, it's time to do the top of our pineapple. So I'll line that up, and this time I'm going to stamp with the Rina K Screamin' Green ink. Once again, I wanted to add some darker color towards the base of that image, so I'm inking it up with Gina K Fresh Asparagus ink, which is a darker green, and then wiping some of the excess ink away from the top of the image so that we only have the dark color towards the bottom. So you can see how quickly you can pop in a new die cut and do the same stamping, so you end up with several die cuts that are all stamped exactly alike. I plan to use 2 on my card today, but I'm making extras so I can make additional cards later. Now it's time to add some flocking details to the pineapple. To do so, I'm using this detail stencil that I showed you earlier. I'm cutting out the pineapple portion, but you definitely don't have to cut the stencil. You could instead just mask off the other portions. I'm also going to be using Thermoweb Duo Transfer Gel. This is a newer product that will allow you to apply flock and foil and a few other things using the heat from a laminator or the pressure from a die cut machine. And I'll be showing you the die cut machine method today. So I'm back to my template. I'll pop in one of the die cuts, and now I'm going to line up that stencil right over the area. You could do this in multiple ways on this pineapple, but I decided to add the detail like this. So I'm putting tape on one side of that stencil piece. That way I can flip it open like a book and replace each die cut after I'm done applying the transfer gel. Okay, so now I have a little tool here that allows me to apply some of this, and I'm just going to try to put a smooth, even layer over those openings without getting it all around my die cut. This is very easy to do. You can use a tool like this or even just a scrap piece of cardstock. Once I'm done, I'll flip this up, remove my die cut, and then I like to blow on it a little bit to pop any bubbles that might appear, and then you set it aside to dry for a while. So now I'm putting in another die cut, applying some more, then lift up the stencil, remove the die cut, and continue. Once you're done using the stencil and the tool, you definitely want to clean it off nicely and then put the lid back on your gel. Now for this example, I decided to use the gel to apply neon flock. Now the flock comes in lots of pretty colors, and I will use white later on, but I'm really excited about these bright neon colors from the Rina K Design. If you look closely, it really is soft to the touch. You can even die cut shapes from this or cut off strips to put on your card, or you can apply it to images like I'm about to do. Now you want to make sure your gel has dried for at least an hour. So I let it dry for about an hour. It started out white, and notice it's clear now. Then you want to take your flocking piece and lay it with the pretty side down onto the image and run it through your die cut machine as if you were doing die cutting, but there's no dies here. It's just your image with the gel that's dried, the flock face down, run it through, and the pressure will press that flocking material into the gel that's dried. And when you peel off the flocking sheet, you'll be left with the soft flock detail on your pineapple. Now this is something you can do with a lot of different images. You could do stenciled backgrounds, whatever you want, but check it out how perfect it is on this cute little pineapple. So now I have all of these pineapples with the flocking, and I could leave it as is, but I wanted to show you that you can actually add a little bit of color to the flocked areas using permanent markers such as Copic markers. So I went in and added more of an orangey yellow to the bottom of the flocked areas and a touch of bright green to the top of the flocked areas. And I just felt like that added even more fun to this image and made it look even more realistic. So think about all the ways you could use flocking on your cards. Change the color, die cut it, use with stencils, whatever you want. It's a nice way to add a soft touch to your projects. Okay, now that our pineapples are ready, let's get the rest of the card ready. I'm going to do some soft stenciling on the background. This is the Gina K Designs Sun Spot Stencil, which is a favorite of mine and I've used many times in videos. I'm putting it kind of centered towards the bottom right of our white panel here. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm applying Hello Yellow ink from Rina K. I'm doing this very softly with a blending brush so I can have a soft amount of color in the background that will match our pineapples. Once I removed this, I decided I wanted to trim this down to be 4 by 5 1/4 so that I can add it on to a green note card. Next, I'm kind of planning out where my images will go on the front of the card. So I have 2 pineapples here. I'm going to die cut one in this position where I'm taping the die, and I'm saving room to die cut another kind of to the left and below that. But we need to die cut the window through this panel and the note card. So I'm just going to temporarily adhere that panel to the front of the note card using just a little bit of tape runner. You don't need to use much, just a little. Now I will open up my card and run it through my die cut machine. This die will cut through both layers. I'm using 2 very heavyweight cardstocks and it does cut through fine. So you should be okay to be able to just die cut the window with one pass. Okay, so I'm going to carefully pop out the pieces there. Then I will move the die to the other location where I want the other pineapple to be. The reason I'm cutting a window in the front of the card is I want to glue my pineapples inside of the card so that they peek through when the card is closed. I also decided that I wanted white background on the inside of the card, so I have another piece of white cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm gluing that to the inside. Okay, now it's time to add our pineapples. I'm putting Gina K Connect liquid adhesive on the back of one of my pineapples. I'll close the card, press this through the window, then open the card back up and press it firmly on the inside of the card. This way it's lined up through the inside of the card. And I will do the same with the other pineapple. I put some adhesive on the back of it, pop it through that hole, then press it in and then open up the card. And everything is lined up perfectly. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue that die cut panel to the front of the card. I could have glued this on permanently before we did the die cutting, but I wasn't really sure where I was going with the card. That's why I did the temporary adhesive from before. Okay, now I can go ahead and stamp a sentiment on here. This sentiment just makes me smile. Lila loved it too. And I'm stamping this with Gina K Obsidian Amalgam Black ink, which is a nice, dark, crisp black ink. I added a few little yellow gemstones and a matching Gina K Designs envelope. And here you can see the completed card. We have the coordinating die cut window that allows the pineapples to show on the outside of the card, but also on the inside when you open it up. If you wanted, on the inside, you could do some stenciling too or additional stamping, but I just decided to leave it with the 2 pineapples, so it would be plenty of room to write a personal sentiment above them. I also really like the flocking detail. It adds that nice texture, it's easy to do, and it takes this simple card and steps it up a bit. My next example is another simple card, and it again has those die cut windows that show through to the inside of the card. This time I'll be applying some Rina K glitter glitz in neon colors. This is the fun Rina K Design stamp set called Sweet Stuff. This is a great set because it does 2 different types of ice cream cone. It does a popsicle, a cupcake, a donut, and lots of playful messages. You can layer up the images many ways, and once again, there's the detail stencil to add layers, and also the coordinating dies, and I'll be using all of those on this card. So once again, I die cut a bunch of white die cuts, this time of an ice cream cone, and I'm going to stamp the ice cream on each of them with different colors of the Rina K Neon inks. Next, I want to stamp the ice cream cone underneath it, so I need to do a little bit of masking. I'm using a piece of old masking paper and stamped the ice cream on it. I'm going to take a piece of clear packing tape and put it on top. Then I'll cut it out. The reason I put the tape on top is so that I can stamp over this mask many times without actually having to redo the mask and it won't leak through. I would normally recommend using Gina K Masking Magic here, which is a nice masking paper that doesn't let ink bleed through, but I ran out of Masking Magic and just placed a new order. So I had to do this trick instead. So I'll mask the ice cream, and I actually put the mask a little bit up from the bottom edge of the stamped ice cream because this is a thick mask because we had to put tape on it. So you want to leave a little wiggle room. Now I'm going to ink up the cone with Gina K Designs Craft, which is a nice brown. And I'll do that on each of my ice cream cones, using the mask each time. Once I've done the base of our ice cream cone, I will then come in with the detail layer and stamp that with Warm Cocoa from Gina K Design. Once I'm done, I'll have a bunch of ice cream cones ready to add another layer of detail. This time I decided to use the Rina K Designs Neon Glitter Glitz gel. So you can see the bright colors that comes in here. This is a gel that's easy to apply to your cards and the glitter doesn't rub off when you're done. Now I'm going to use the detail stencil once again. I cut out the ice cream topping portion of the stencil and I'm taping it down over my stamped ice cream. And again, I'm creating a little flap there or a hinge so I can easily open and close it each time I apply. Okay, so for the first one, I have my application tool here and some of the pink glitter glitz gel. I'll apply an even layer and then set it aside to dry. You could do that duo transfer gel that I did before and add flocking on this, and that would be cute too. But I thought the glitter would be fun on these ice cream cones. So for each ice cream cone, I'm applying the glitter glitz gel that matches the ink that I used. While I set that aside to dry, it's time to die cut our card. This time I have a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch top folding white note card. I've die cut a few extra of the ice cream cones so I could plan this out while the other ice cream cones dry. I thought it'd be fun to do like a half circle towards the top left of our card. So I'm temporarily taping these ice cream cones down to help me plan out where to die cut. Once I have them positioned, I'm going to trace a little bit with a pencil so I know where to die cut each when I'm ready to. Okay, now that I have my pencil lines, I will remove each of the die cuts except for the one on the right. I'm going to use that die cut as a guide to position my die. So I'm popping it right over the die cut that's just there temporarily. Run that through our die cut machine. It'll cut through the front of the note card, and there we have our first window ready. I then can take another one of the ice cream cones, put a little adhesive on the back of it, line it up with the next pencil outline, line up the die on top of that, and then run that through. By putting the die cut there before we run it through, it helps to make sure that we have that die cut window perfectly lined up. That way everything is evenly spaced and the results will be better in the long run. And I'll do this with all 4 ice cream cones. I then can erase the pencil lines. I like to use my creative detailer tool for this, which is like a spinning eraser, so that I can easily remove the pencil lines without having to be too rough. Okay, now I can apply some Gina K Connect liquid adhesive to the back of a cone, put it through the window, and after I have those down, I can open up the card just to make sure that it opens freely. And there we have a fun card design. Now you can see that glitter glitz gel dried beautifully, but I thought it'd be fun to step it up a little bit by putting some little chocolate sprinkles on top. So I grabbed a thin strip of dark brown cardstock scrap and cut tiny little pieces from it. I'm going to glue those right on top of the glitter glitz gel using some Gina K Connect adhesive, and I have my craft picker here to pick up each and lay them into the adhesive. Once I've added all of the sprinkles, I'm using the Gina K Crystalline Accent Drops. This is a clear product that adds dimension and shine, and I'm just putting it on top of the sprinkles, just to give it some dimension. Little details like this don't take too long and make a big difference in the end. You can see I also stamped a sentiment that says "You're so sweet" from the same Rina K stamp set. So here you can see there's room on the inside to write your sentiment towards the bottom. And you have a fun window card design with lots of texture, but it's still a very simple design. For our next card, I decided to step it up a little bit by putting our die cut windows in different places on the front of the card and also adding some stamping. Off screen, I die cut a bunch of white flowers using the die from the Sending Sunshine set I showed you at the beginning of this video that had the pineapple too. I stamped the first larger flower with the popping pink ink, and then stamped the second little flower on the inside with the potent purple ink. And I did that on all of my flower examples. Now I'm coming in with a small circle stencil. This is from the detail stencil of that set. And I'm going to fill in the opening of that circle at the center of the flower with my white gel pen. I'll tell you why in a moment. Then over that, I applied some of the Duo Transfer Gel, and I'll take that and set it aside to dry for about an hour. I'm going to do that on each of my flowers. The reason I put the white gel pen under the gel is because the gel dries clear, and I wanted white behind the flocking instead of that purple. I have a little piece of the neon yellow flock that I'll put face down on top of that dried gel and run it through, and this gives me a bright yellow center to my flowers. Because I put white pen underneath the clear gel, that yellow stays true yellow and none of the purple ink shows through. I will say that Thermoweb does have a different product that you can use that stays white even when dry, so that the flock that you put on top stays true to color. It's called the Blanco product, and that's what you see here. I didn't get it in time to use in today's video. However, you can use it for the same techniques. So stay tuned for a video about this, but remember it can be used as an alternative. Okay, so I have a piece of white note card that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm gluing it to the front temporarily of a Gina K Whisper cardstock note card that's top folding and 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have die cut some additional flowers that I'm temporarily taping to kind of plan things out on my card, and then I will remove the flowers and start my die cutting. I like to plan out where I'm going to do all my die cutting first, even if just to eyeball it. Okay, so I'm die cutting through both the white cardstock and the open note card so that I have my first window up here on the top right. I will then use the same die to cut additional windows on the front of the card. Now I'm doing 4 different flowers here, making sure kind of some hangs off a bit just for some interest, but I also make sure there's an area where I don't die cut the windows so that I can be sure to leave room for a stamped sentiment and also for an area on the inside where I can write my personal message. Okay, so I'm going to remove the front panel from my card here so that I can do some stamping on this. I'll start by stamping the Hello Sunshine sentiment from the same stamp set. All these images are from the same set. And then I'm going to stamp some leaves. And I'm making sure the leaves overlap with the window so they look like the leaves are kind of coming out from behind the flowers. I stamped first with Key Lime ink from Gina K, and then once again added some grass green ink towards the base of the flower just to get like a two-tone look. I will repeat this and stamp many leaves around the flower openings. Okay, so after I finished that, I went ahead and glued the front panel back on to our die cut note card. I'm now using that liquid adhesive to pop each of our die cuts into the windows. So think about all the different stamps and coordinating dies that you have. You can create fun cards this way with the die cut windows, which just adds a little bit of interest to a simple card design. After I have these in place, I decided I wanted to add a little bit of white detail to each of the flowers. I love the flocking in the center. It's nice and soft and bright, and I'm just using a white gel pen to add 3 little lines coming out from the flocked center. I finished off the card by adding a few yellow gemstones, and when you open up the card, you can see the flowers inside. If you wanted, you could add some leaves here, but I decided to keep it simple, so I had some room to write my sentiment around my flowers. If you wanted more room inside, you could add a smaller note card on the inside and glue the flowers to that. I like how this is still able to stand up, has those die cut windows, and then that special flocked detail at the center of the flowers. Okay, here's my next example. It's a little similar to the last one, but I added more stamping and more flocking with some color detail to it. This time I used a stamp set, die set, and detail stencil that I've used in a video before, and I'll link to that. This is from Gina K Designs, and it's called Petals and Wings. It's very similar to the Rina K products, where you have the 3 that work together nicely. In addition to that, I'll be using the large Hello sentiment from this Gina K, a Big Hello card kit. So this stamp set was part of a card kit, and I really like that large Hello. I've used this set also before, and I will link to that video. Okay, off screen, I die cut several butterflies from white cardstock. I then stamped the butterfly wings with the Rina K Neon blue ink. And then I used the detail stencil for the body and wings. I applied the transfer gel over it, just like I've done many times in this video, and then applied white flock. So the white flock is just like the neon, but it's white and adds this soft look. Now, once I did this, you can see how the blue ink shows through the flock. That's because the gel is clear. If I wanted to make sure that the flock stayed bright white, I could have used that Blanco product or put some white gel pen down first before applying the gel. But I like the soft blue flock look on the butterfly. I then used brown Copic markers to add color to the body and antenna. It doesn't take long to add these details, but I made extra butterflies so I can have them for additional cards. And I really like the soft feeling of the flock. I wish you could feel it in the video. It really is nice. So then I created a note card just like I did on the last one. I stamped some yellow flowers, I stamped some green leaves, I did a little orange at the center of the flowers, I stamped the large Hello sentiment, and then I have my die cut windows in which I can place the butterflies. So again, I assembled this just like the last card that we did. I just wanted to show you a variation. I then added a few white iridescent gemstones and have a matching Gina K envelope. Here you can see the detail of the flocking and the fun look that you get by creating a coordinating die window on the front of your card so you can have your die cuts on the inside of the card. Again, I could have done some stamping on the inside, but I really like the plain and simple look so you can add a personal sentiment. Now before we go, I wanted to show you some other pieces that I created during this crafting session that I didn't get to turn into cards. I don't know if you noticed, but the stamp sets that I used had a lot of different options, so I thought I'd show some of the others and things you can do with them. Here I have another ice cream cone that I created, a little different look to this one. And I stamped it, die cut it, and then I used the detail stencil to put transfer gel onto the top of the ice cream. So you can see that's why it's a little bit shiny. Now on these, I'm going to put some flocking. So I'm using the neon flocking face down, and I'll run that through my die cut machine to apply the pressure, which will press the flocking into that duo gel. I then can peel off the flocking, and here we have some ice cream cones where the whole top is that flocked soft look. It's really a fun way to add a little detail to your stamped images. Now I had planned on doing a card with this. Let me just tell you what I was going to do, but I ran out of time. I was going to die cut 3 ice cream cone windows on the bottom of the card, and right above it stamp "Have a Sweet Birthday." I then would probably do some strips of the neon yellow flocking and have that go along the bottom of the card too. That way you could have some softness on the background and a bit of interest. Here's another fun example. I have a stamped ice cream cone with the Duo transfer gel on the top. I'm putting some white flocking on that face down, run it through my machine to apply the pressure, and what happens is you get a softer color of flocking here because remember the ink shows through that flocking a little bit, and I really like that soft look. If I wanted the white flocking to stay true to white, you'd have to put some white pen down first through the stencil or use that Blanco product. But I like how this makes it look like a sherbet ice cream. Okay, there's one other new product I just wanted to mention. I didn't get to use it on a card today, but this is the Rina K Designs Neon Enamel. This is really unique. These are transfer sheets that kind of look like the Deco foil transfer sheets that you've seen me use in videos, and I'll link to one here. It just creates kind of a shiny enamel appearance over that Duo gel. So here I have an ice cream cone. The Duo gel is over the pink area. I'm laying a piece of enamel with the pretty side facing up, right on top of it, and I'll run it through my die cut machine for pressure. You could use a laminator too, and check it out. You end up with this really smooth looking shiny result. It's kind of hard to see there, but there you can see how smooth it looks, like enamel. So that's another fun product that you could use for the different techniques I showed you today. I also had a few more ideas with the glitter glitz gel. Here's an ice cream cone where I put sprinkles with the pink neon glitter glitz, using the sprinkle detail stencil that's meant for the donuts. I just put it over the ice cream cone, added the gel, and you end up with the little sparkly sprinkles. And one last idea for you, there's also a new Gina K Designs Iridescent glitter gel. This is like one of those that can be used with all different cards and all different colors because it's a clear iridescent. Here I stamped some oranges from that Rina K stamp set that I showed you earlier. Then I used the detail stencil to apply that iridescent glitter gel over it. And look at how it allows some of the orange to show through, and you get these fun sparkly oranges. I just wanted to show you some of these other variations so you can see how you can use all these products together and interchange them. But remember that you can create these kind of card designs with the die cut window opening using any stamps and coordinating dies that you may have. Now, if you're interested in the particular products I used today, they're fun and bright, they are linked below in my YouTube description. In the middle here are a couple other videos that I mentioned earlier, and I thank you for spending this time with me. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.